Today is a new day. Welcome to the New Day Talk, where we talk about all things real estate. My name is Eddie.
Hello, my name is Mandy, and I'm so excited to be here today. And I want to introduce our special guest, Bonnie Lai. I'm so excited to talk to you in the conversation today. And can you introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Bonnie Lai. I work for Remax Unlimited, based in Brookline. I've been a real estate agent for about 8, going on ninth years right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So even though it sounds like a long time, it really goes by really fast. In fact, I actually met Eddie just maybe a few years ago when you
4
were
years.
newer in the
Yeah.
business as
4
well.
years. Oh my God.
So we have been friends
Yeah.
since then. And it's funny story. The way I met Eddie was through another real estate agent, Linda Lee.
Oh, yeah,
And
Linda.
I saw
Linda
his
is how I
good
got
work.
started.
Ever.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I saw her posting your photos on social media, and then I specifically asked her for his contact because I really liked his photos.
So I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us today. This is our first ever podcast. We're gonna, publish this sometime next week.
Yay.
And so today's topic, we want to talk about a very basic thing about real estate: how to buy, how to sell, and then how to work with real estate agent like Bonnie. How to find good real estate agents. And for those who are newer to the industry, Bonnie will absolutely give some tips how to be successful in this industry, because I know real estate can be really, really hard.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear your story too.
Sure. Well, real estate is definitely hard, but it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I can say that, to all the buyers and sellers, the market is definitely shifting in 2023. It is important to pick your professionals very carefully. This is the kind of timing that if you don't have skills, that you have, prepare yourself for, it's the kind of market that it will get very difficult for like buyers or sellers if you're not being represented correctly.
Great.
My background was actually in music education and finance. So I have 2 masters. I have
finance.
one in
Okay.
music education, and I have another master in finance.
Wow.
So I actually have taught music for like almost 20 years. I look pretty young if you can see the video, but I actually started teaching since I was out from college, and I was a middle school band director.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun. I played the
Didn't know
piano, clarinet, violin, voice, so I do everything. And I think that what makes me, so good with multitasking
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
So if a plug for all parents out there, let your kids learn music. It's the
Oh, yeah,
best
for
gift
sure.
you can give them.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it really changed my life.
You still teaching?
I
or-
had to stop a few years ago because real estate business really picked up.
Yeah.
So and then with the way that budget cut works, eventually I decided that I want to have a second way of making money, and that's explain why I got my finance degree. And after that, I actually stopped teaching in the public school and went into accounting for 6 years. And I was I was a manager at that time, but knowing that I didn't want another promotion, I don't want to die doing this job because my bosses are like all bald and angry and divorced. And for me, it was just there's no money or amount that is what gonna lock me in with that job. And when I bought my affordable housing, I only pay $197,000 for my 1-bedroom in Alston. That was before I was a real estate agent. I was, kind of transitioned between music to
Finance,
accounting.
yeah.
Yes. So, and it changed my life. So I'm originally from Hong Kong. My parents are immigrants. We all came in 1998. And my parents sold everything they had in Hong Kong, and we moved to America with the cash we had. We made a very important decision to not buy it at the time, even though we could have afforded something cash in Newton. But we didn't do it. It's because my parents, were worried about cash flow. If you put everything you have in there, then what happened to our college funds? We
Yeah.
wouldn't have money to go to college.
Yeah.
So that's why we rented for over 10 plus years, exactly 10 years actually, 10 to 12 years. They waited until both my brother and I are done with college, and I bought my first home in 2008. I was only making $34,000.
Was
So
that at
I
the
qualified left and right.
Was that the real estate at the peak?
No, that was when exactly. That was right, actually it's right after it started dipping.
Okay.
After Lehman Brothers happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's good for you.
And I got the $8,000 grant, and it changed my life at that time. $8,000 is a lot for someone who only
Yeah.
made $34,000.
Yeah.
And then the same year, I helped my parents also buy something in Weston in a 55 plus community.
Yeah.
And they live next to the Harvard Dean.
Wow.
So they hit the jackpot. And so for me, the real estate really changed my family's life. And since I'm from Hong Kong, it's practically in our blood anyway.
Yeah.
Real estate is in our blood.
Wow.
Like, real estate is just our jam.
Yeah.
So I think, it was so exciting to be able to help myself. My mortgage is less than $1,000 a month. So it really frees me up to do this job right now, not thinking about money, because
Yeah.
let's face it, a lot of people get into the business because of money. But unless you are passionate in helping people and doing the right thing, you put your clients first and their best interest first, you're not going to be able to do well in this industry because
Yeah.
people can tell you just want a commission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when
True.
you can put other people first selflessly, that's when you're the best.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think that's why it allows me to become a much greater agent because financially I never have to stress about it.
Yeah.
And I know that you wanted me to advise new agents who just step into the business. The reason why a lot of agents, like I would say 60, there's some statistic out there. Most agents don't last the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And mostly it's because financially they don't have the money to stay in the business.
Yeah, because it's a commission based, right? And then
Correct.
if you don't have buyers, you don't have
don't make
listing, you don't
nothing.
make
Yeah.
nothing. So,
You can make nothing for 6 months.
yeah, how can they survive?
So some don't.
Yeah.
The truth is, before you jump into the business, you should financially prepare yourself.
Okay.
This is not the job you get into when you're broke. Unless some people do it, they like do or die. Then maybe they will survive. Like I've known agents
Yeah.
who were very broke when they came in and they like, I'm gonna cold call 8 hours a day. Those people, they will put in a lot of hard work to make sure failing
Yeah.
is not an option. So there is definitely exception, but I don't recommend it because it's very stressful.
Yeah,
and I
and
know
risky
agents,
too.
very risky. So if you're single with no kids at home, that's fine. But if you have a spouse who already make $150,000 a year with insurance, then yeah, sure, do part time, maybe transition into full time. Every situation is different, and that's why you have no idea how many people call me because they see that my job is so fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I
They
have
see-
I
they
have
see
heard
the way
a
I
lot.
eat.
So people say that, oh, so I'm so really stressful with my full-time job. I want to become a
Right.
real estate agent because I see them like the open house. They're
Right.
really fun. They look
Yes.
good. They have a good
It looks
car.
sexy and fun, right? It looks
Yeah.
sexy and fun because we watch too much Netflix, like Sell It Sunset. But the truth is, the business is hard in a way that you can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like the work that we do behind, like the people that we have to manage,
Yep.
like different kind of personalities. If you don't like people, you don't like educating. If you feel like people are stupid, then this is not the business for you. Like I've had
true.
clients, I've advised a lot of my clients. Some
Yeah.
of them ended up getting the real estate license, and I'm always supportive because there's there's nothing to lose to get a license, but rather you decided to stay in the business is completely a different story.
Yeah.
If you can last, then why not, right? I will help you. I will help you grow. Like if you're too busy to do your deal because you still have your full-time job, I'll give you a referral.
Yeah.
I can close, and that's also explain why my business grows so much. I have so many agents that send me their deals either. They don't have time to work on them.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to that location because I do deals everywhere.
Yeah.
And they think I can close because when you're in a very competitive market, can you really compete with someone like me if we're bidding on the same house?
Yep.
Right? Unless you're all cash and willing to go above.
Yeah.
Like I have the skill set to get my buyers to where the yes is.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
again, you learn from other people.
I've seen it happen many times when
Yeah.
you get the listing that
Yeah.
no one
Are
can
they-
sell.
Yeah, Eddie will go to a house and he's, I've seen this house, I've taken photos with this house, and now I'm selling it. And
Yeah,
and there
so-
was this one house that was sold by 4 different agents.
Yeah.
Remember
Wow.
the one in Lexington?
Yeah.
And I was the last agent that got it done.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
It's thank you, thank you. I'm not very humble, but but I think. I think in this business it's all about relationship and skills.
Yeah.
And when you're in a position where you can help others, you should always do it.
Yeah. I think it's more about the kindness.
Right.
You kind to yourself, to the job, to other people, and to
Right.
your colleagues. That's the most important
Right.
things.
And I
Yeah.
personally never see any of my realtor friends as competitors. I always truthfully believe that there are enough fish out there,
Yeah.
regardless of what the market is
Sure,
showing.
absolutely.
I remember, there was this one listing that me and my other friend, actually we were competing for a buyer. And I was asking the buyer casually, are you interviewing other agents? And they toss out a few names, and I recognize one of the names, and I'm like, you know what? It's going to be between me and her. It's just going to be me and her, because it doesn't matter who you choose, you're going to be in good hands. So just choose with whoever you feel more comfortable with.
Sure.
So it's funny because she ended up working with one of the other sister, and I got the other one. So it ended up working out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really hard to survive in this market because less selling, more buying. But if you don't have connection, you don't have buyers, you don't make
Right.
anything. So the
Even
advice.
if you have buyer, there's no listing. I mean, there's no inventory for you
Right.
to
Yeah.
help buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why you have to be good.
Yeah.
You have to have a full-time job first.
Well, so I would say another note to add on that is, when you have agents who just started, like there are a lot of ways to learn how to win those bids if you have the right mentor. So go back to, I have a lot of different chat rooms with, levels at different, like skill sets. I learned from a brand new agent how to do TikTok.
Oh, you on TikTok?
Yeah, I am now. So
Okay.
actually, one of like Haley, she taught me how to do TikTok. We grabbed lunch, and we were showing each other things, and I was like, you got to show me this thing because and now you see me being a little more active.
Even I'm not on TikTok yet.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, you have been doing a lot of reels.
Yeah, I have
But
been. Yeah.
but I mean, in this business, you can get old very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's always new technologies that kind of push you out if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
So that's why I enjoy learning from anyone from different skill set. Like I can learn from someone who have been in the business for 35 years how traditional real estate works.
Yeah.
I'm in a networking group where I'm consistently every month we meet with the top agents in New England with the Remax agents. A lot of them have like many years of experience. They're retiring soon, and there's such a wealth of knowledge I can tap into because they've seen like 3 cycles in the past.
Yeah.
And they can
Wow.
tell me, don't freak out, you'll be okay.
No. So come back to a really basic question. What do real estate agents do?
So we have the difference between, a buyer agent and a seller agent. So, in the past, decade, we have buyer representations. Back in the days, we only have one agent, seller agent, and then you have facilitator that work on behalf of the seller, but actually work for the buyer. But your loyalty is actually to the seller, not the buyers. So eventually, we're buyer representation specifically for like buyers because they're the one that pay a lot of money and they should be represented. So
I didn't know that.
exactly. So I think it depends on how experienced you are as a real estate buyer, or investor. Let's just say if you have done 30 transactions in the past, so yeah, then maybe you won't need someone to hold your hand through the whole process. But if you're a first-time home buyer or you don't know the industry so much that you definitely should find a knowledgeable professional to represent you, knowing that this is a lot of money that you're putting in. For most people, this is the biggest purchase they will ever make.
Yes,
Yep, that's
So
true.
why would you go in without representation to fight for your best interest?
Yeah.
And because I know that sometimes when a buyer come in without representation, they would just do whatever the listing agent, who works for the seller, to just tell them how much.
True.
And
Yes.
when I'm the listing agent, I will tell you, a number that I
There's
know
no
my
one to
seller
fight
will
for you.
want,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it's the best interest for the buyers,
Yeah.
right? So of course, someone like myself, I represent both buyers and sellers. And most of the agents, when they start in the business, they start with being a buyer agent first. And once you build your business for a while, then your buyers become sellers in 5 to 7 years
Yeah.
because they either have to upsize or downsize or they buy investment properties.
Sure.
That's how real estate business grow. And personally, my niche is first-time home buyers because I used to be. Well, maybe I will talk about my why later.
Yeah, no, it's really true. I saw some people, they don't have or don't never work with a real estate agent before, and they looking for houses. So they see house on Zillow or something, and then they go with the listing agent.
Right.
Also represent their buying
Yeah.
transaction, which is not really good for them. So
Right.
what is the process of working with you as a real estate agent for buying house?
Yeah, so I can clarify that. So most people nowadays, when they look for a home, they start with, an app, like you mentioned. You have
Yeah.
Zillow, you have Redfin, you
Yes.
have Realtor.com. So people, when they see a home they like, they make it so user-friendly on a purpose. Is because they actually sell leads back to buyer agents. So the people that, you
see.
contact from those websites, most of the time they are buyer agents.
I
So it's
see.
not directly to the listing agent, but some people do purposely seek out the listing agent directly and go direct. Again, with do it with your own risk.
Yeah.
So those buyer agents, I think I'm not saying they're like bad agents because they are just normal agents who is basically either paying a fee or doing a split with the company to get leads, to generate leads and business. So personally, I think when you hire someone, it's better if you interview a few, because as an agent, I know that a client would like to work with someone that they trust and they like.
Absolutely.
Who is very knowledgeable, who can, so they can trust that the whole process will be easy.
Absolutely.
So personally, I have a hashtag called Your Real Estate Quarterback. That's my
I
hashtag.
love the hashtag.
I came up with it one day, because I really do feel like that's my role in real estate. You start with the agent, and then the agent will understand what your financial background, position is at that time. So we can introduce you to a lender that fits your profile. If you're a first-time home buyer, then I know that, maybe there's this grant program like Mass Dreams. We
Absolutely.
recently helped some of my first-time home buyers get that grant. It was like $50,000. That's not little money.
I wish I was able to buy with that grant.
Maybe when your daughter grow up, I can
Yeah.
help her. but
If they roll another grant in there.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's still a $10,000 grant floating around, but contact me and I'll let you know how to find that money.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing, right? When you have a real estate agent who is knowledgeable with who the contacts are, we build a team for you. We are your team. So therefore, I know the lenders, I know the photographer, right? I know inspector, the attorneys, insurance guy, everything along the way. I'm supposed to have a solution for you. When there's a problem that's come up, I'm supposed to solve that problem for you. So, if people want to do it themselves, then you're kind of leaving yourself very unprotected.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any fee for working with a buyer agent like you?
Sure. So the way commission works in real estate is that the transaction is what pays both agents, right? So currently, the law basically, say that the seller will decide what the commission would be,
The seller.
and with their listing agent, and then from there they will compensate the buyer agent. So basically, but when you think about it, the buyer is the one that give the money, and then at closing, that's where the commission is being split between the two. So right now, you can basically say, both agents are getting paid X and Y. At closing, the transaction basically pay both agents, and the money, either come from the buyer or you see it the other way, come from the seller. But at the end, it came somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
see.
the same pool of money.
Yeah.
So technically, right now, the buyer might not think they're paying the commission. Of course they are. It came from their money.
I see.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
But
got
at the end, it was from the pool of fund that pays for the transaction. And some buyer might think that, if I don't have a buyer agent, can I have 2% back or 2.5 or whatever? That's not usually the case.
I see.
In that case, usually the listing agent will keep the whole commission.
I
So you're basically paying that guy to not represent you,
Okay.
which in my opinion is risky and is a little,
Okay, you
stupid.
better to pay someone that work for you and
Yes.
make, get the most advantage for you. Otherwise, you're not gonna get paid or get money back.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Because it's none of the buyer's business how much the buyer agent get paid or the
So,
listing agent get
sure,
paid.
okay.
So a lot of the agent will probably tell you, well, what I make is none of your business. So you don't get to ask me for any money back because
wow,
I
okay.
can just go with the other buyer who have representation, so I don't do double the work.
I see.
Because when you don't have an agent, the listing agent is taking on double the work.
I
Why
see.
should they do it for free?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay.
That's a different way of thinking, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Especially
now I
for the
just know that.
community.
Okay. Awesome.
Right.
It's a different perspective. Yeah.
It's the right way to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But certain communities, you know, they don't know, they don't understand. Especially I personally work with a good amount of immigrant, you know,
Yeah.
population, you know, then it's something that we have to explain very carefully because where they're from originally might not have the same system.
Yeah,
Right.
same to Vietnam, right? We don't have
Correct.
anything like that. And then when people come to buy house, it's like, I have ton of money. Why don't I just go and buy a house by myself?
Right.
Why I have to work with other people?
And it's so funny because some of those buyers will go straight to the listing agent and
Yes.
say, tell me how much.
Yes.
But
I
it
pay all
doesn't,
cash.
it doesn't, well, cash might work,
Yeah.
but when you're trying to walk up to a listing agent that way, you're basically telling them to slaughter you. Like, tell me
True.
how much. I'm like, sure, and another, like, I'll make sure you pay the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's my job as a listing agent is to squeeze
Mm-hmm.
as hard as I can for my seller.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have that much money and you don't care about being, you know, paying the fair price, then it's not the right thing to do, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So is there any tip or any advice for the first-time home buyer in this market?
Sure. So the market has always been very difficult. You know, since I've been a real estate agent in 2014, it has always been a seller market. Things got really, really ridiculous.
Yes.
Since COVID.
Yeah.
And honestly, we didn't have a crystal ball, so we thought, oh, COVID is going to end everything. People are dying.
Yeah.
Like we all gonna be
Seriously.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought, like when COVID happened, I sincerely thought that, oh, we're gonna do a lot less. But what happened was because everyone is working from home,
Yeah.
you know,
They need
realized
they
they
need
need
to
more
upsize.
space.
Like you know, some of you did. You decided that you know what, I can't stay in my like 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo anymore. So let's buy a house.
Have
So
an office.
because of that, yeah, and we need office, we need extra toilet. I might need a new husband. You know, there's a lot more divorces going on, but
Sure.
they're happy stories, right? I you know personally, I've helped a lot of people to you know sell their smaller condo in the
Yeah.
city and then upsize in the suburbs,
Yeah.
and it's because people are working from home. One downside during COVID is that we have a lot less listings.
Yep.
A lot less people want to sell. It's a combination of because the market is too crazy. If the sellers sell, where do they end
Where do they
up?
go?
They
Yeah.
don't have a place to go. So because of listings are just rare, we don't have enough supply. So that's why the market just went up almost 25 to 30%.
I would say more.
Within
right.
2 years.
Yeah.
It depends on where.
Right.
And as an agent, I was disgusted by that market
Yeah.
because, and again, this is the time when you really need a good agent because you're talking about every offer you put in, you had like 20, 30 other competitions.
Yeah.
That was at the peak of the market, right?
Yeah.
And of course, everything kind of changed when the interest rate started going up. When the rate was only at 2.6 or 3.3 or 3.8,
Yeah.
that was still a very attractive, like, cheap money,
Yep,
so to
yep.
speak. So people are ready to like toss 30% over asking
Yep.
and think that, whoa, interest rate is so cheap, I have more leverage to overbid.
Yeah.
And that's why the market inflated so much.
Yeah.
And
I
now
see.
with the interest rate settling around high 5s and low 6, now we're seeing buyers coming out again. It's not as bad as January or to March last year, 2022.
Yeah.
Things kind of slowed down when the rate just went over 100% over, comparing to 2021.
Yeah.
People were just in shock,
Yep.
like with how fast the interest rate went up.
So fast.
So the market actually kind of took a little, it was a little more balanced. I wouldn't say it was a buyer market. It
Yeah.
just kind of,
Balanced,
instead of
yes.
going 150 miles an hour, now we're
Less seller
doing
market.
80,
Yeah.
and people are pissed
Yeah.
because they're like, why? It's just there's a lot of unclear thing going on.
Sure.
And of course, if we know what is going to be like in the future, we're all going to be rich. But I think Addie got pretty rich during COVID with all these people selling their houses. But anyway, so I would say for the buyers right now is to make sure that, find an agent that understands your need. It's still a competitive market
Yes.
because in the beginning of the year, spring usually start in March. That's when the market usually pick up. But this year it started picking up right in January. I have been so
I can
busy.
see that too, yeah.
Yeah.
We got slammed since the beginning of last week.
I know.
That's-
I never
it's
stopped.
unprecedented.
Like I would
I
say,
thought we are gonna have like a slow, chilling January.
That's why we started a
Yeah.
podcast series. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's
the
do it now.
Q seasons. Let's do something fun.
Yeah.
I think next time I come, your storage is gonna double because we really do need
Yep.
staging.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But yeah, I think just finding the right team is key. Getting yourself educated through your professional is key. Why reinvent the wheel? Especially if you're putting so much money on the line,
Yeah.
you're going in unprotected. You definitely need to find a good team.
Yep. So one more question. It's just like, it's so crazy right now. Should the buyer wait, or if they need a house, they're gonna go and buy the house right now?
Yeah, that's a two-part questions because it depends if you're a first-time home buyer or are you an investor or you're someone who don't really have an urgent need
Yeah.
to do it right now.
Let's do first-time home buyer.
So for first-time home buyers, my answer would be always buy when you can afford
Yeah.
to buy because real estate over time will, is always going to go higher even at a dip.
Yep.
No one tells you to sell the house when it goes down. You should always plan to hold your real estate for no less than 5 years. If you're going to do a quick flip, then you definitely need to be very careful with the market if you're an investor.
Yep.
So let's just say if someone like yourself, you have a pretty good home, you would like to upgrade, but do you need to do it now, right? So it really all depends on timing. I can tell you sellers right now, they're only selling because they have to sell.
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
otherwise they would have hold it. If everyone have refinanced into 2s and 3s, why would they sell?
Yeah.
If they come to me, I will tell them, I will convince them to keep it. I'd rather have them just, find the money, find the down payment. In some other way, maybe we'll cash out refi. So you can kind of like hold on to, try to,
Yeah. Keep it as long as
yeah,
possible.
borrow money from your dad with a 3% interest rate, but basically, I think it's going to be a very interesting few years because we are definitely going to be continue to have very low inventories, and it's going to be still a seller market. Maybe not as crazy as 2022, 2021,
But still
but it's
crazy.
going to maintain. Oh, have you not seen all our Asian friends complaining about multiple offers and
Yeah.
losing?
Yes,
It's
yes.
coming back.
Wow.
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about the interest rate? Do you think it's gonna go up or go high, like lower?
I think it has stabilized from all the people that I have worked with, like all my lenders friends. I always ask them the same question.
Yes.
It sounds like the word on the street, and don't quote me. They have been saying that is, in the next 2 years, it's definitely gonna linger around the 5s. And
Okay.
if you get lucky, you may get low 4, like high 4s, but you're not gonna see 3s unless the world is ending.
Okay. We were waiting for the low 4 so we can
Yeah.
refinance.
Well, you will get your chance. I don't know what your rate was, but I can tell you that most people who bought in the last 6 months, they will for sure because a lot of them started to do adjustable
Yeah.
rates. So they
Okay.
will have to refinance, even if it's the low 5s. It would still be a good deal because don't be short-sighted. Historically, the rate is 6%. So the 2% and 3%, it was the COVID money, the
Yeah.
COVID stimulus money. It was never meant to last
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
The
I
party
don't
is
think it's
over,
gonna
guys.
Come back.
Get it out of your head. You're not going to see 3s again.
Yeah, I see. So your advice mean that you buy when you need and when you can afford it.
Yes.
Don't wait.
Yes.
Right.
Because people who waited 3 years ago, people who bought 3 years ago and didn't wait until today, they still coming out a lot stronger than buying today.
Yeah.
Because the market has gone up easily 40% since
Yeah.
3 years ago in
Yeah.
some places. If you're looking at Maine, like New Hampshire, Texas, those
Yeah.
places
Oh,
went up
no,
like almost,
Texas is crazy.
like some places went up over 60%.
Yeah, wow.
Maybe more. So, I have had a lot of clients actually, again, because of COVID, the behavior of how people live is constantly changing. So you're talking about, I work from home now. I never have to go back to my office. So I have some client that moved out of state entirely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is a lot of information to process.
Yeah, buy some houses somewhere else. I'll help you. I give a lot of referrals out.
Yeah, so we wish we had that money.
Yeah.
So maybe
you
after this
you
year,
make them.
when we have a lot of leads from you and then other agents.
Yeah. So beauty about real estate is that, and both me and Eddie have a huge network of, we just know a lot of people in the real estate industry. So not only I get referrals from agents from out of state whenever they need something. For example, I just got a referral from California. My friend that I met through Women's Council, her family wants to buy something in Holyoke. And I'm like, I don't go that far.
Holyoke.
I know it's too
No.
far. If I'm gonna see cows, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So I refer her out to one of my other Women's Council Remax sister, actually, a Remax contact, and they went under agreement the same week.
Wow.
I got a referral from another agent locally. I got a listing in 100 Cove Way, and that was a local agent's referral. So I think, always ask the people you trust and know and see who else they know. So let's just say if you're buying in Hawaii, I got a guy there. If you're buying in Mexico, I know someone there.
Wow.
If you want to find someone in UK, which a lot of my Hong Kong friends are doing,
I see.
I have contact. Remax is everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how you leverage your contacts.
Yeah. So I saw like you work with a lot of like immigrant or like people out of state. So like, is that the process is harder for example, like a person in Vietnam want to buy house here? Is that different process?
Well, it's all about where you find your money, right? So let's just say if it's a cash buyer, then, as long as your money can get to America, that's really what you need.
Yeah.
International buyers, you can also use loans.
Yep.
But your down
I'll get
payment might
loan.
have to be a little higher. It depends on your status of, what kind of visa you hold.
I
If
see.
you have an H-1B, you can do a regular loan. But if you have only like an I-20 student visa, then no bank is going to lend you any money.
I see.
Papa is going to have to pay for it, So it really all depends, but it is possible.
Yeah.
Some of my clients from Hong Kong, they would get a loan in Hong Kong instead because they already hold real estate in Hong Kong, so they can do a cash out refi from there, or just straight out take a loan and get money out, and then
Buy cash here.
exactly.
I see. Okay. So buy whenever you can afford.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, my philosophy as an investor, because I also invest
Yep.
in real estate. Whenever when you see a A+ opportunity or B+, whatever fits your criteria, whenever you see it, is okay to buy as long as it's a good property.
Yep.
Because you know that it's going to sell anytime, and if you're going to hold for 30 years. There's no risk. Newberry Street used to cost $400K, and that was
400, oh,
very
wow.
expensive back then. But look at
Yeah.
it now;
Yeah.
it's worth millions.
Millions.
So real estate is a safe bet, unless again, end of the world. But you can't really plan for that.
Wow. So come back to the story of the selling. So you said that hold as long as possible, but when you work as a seller, like what is the process? How you work with
Yeah.
a seller?
So my thought process with when to sell is the following. There's a few type of strategy when you invest in real estate. You can do a quick flip. You can buy and flip. A lot of people do that
Yep.
to basically use that general income. But I can tell you, people who do flips, eventually they will buy and hold. Because hold and
hold,
flip is
okay.
just a way for you to make money so you can long-term invest in real estate, right?
The end game.
People who make money in the stock market, they can make a boatload. At the end, it rolls back into real estate, because, they make money in Bitcoin. At the end, they still buy virtual real estate in the virtual world. It still come back to real estate.
Wow.
So, but I would say some people will buy and renovate and then hold for 2 years, move in there, and then sell after the, whatever the tax benefits start kicking in.
Yeah.
As an owner occupier, you don't pay as much, capital gain. Or you buy and hold, very easy. You pass it on, to your daughter one day. It's generational wealth, right, so to speak. So there's a lot of different strategy, and some people, the reason why they have to sell is because, I don't want to hold 30 multifamilies anymore. It's very hard to properly manage that because how many driveway do you have to shovel in the
Yeah.
winter, and how many team do you have to maintain?
Yep.
And a toilet is a toilet, a stove is
True.
a stove.
Yeah.
Won't you think eventually it's smarter if you just own a whole building instead? Maybe do 6 to 9 units, or build something completely, apartment building that's worth like 20 million, and just gather everyone in one spot so it's easy for you to manage.
manage, yeah.
But a lot of buyers that I know, they always start with buying just smaller condos, or
Yeah.
they gather like, multifamilies, and then eventually they always just eventually sell them as they get older because they got really sick of managing.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
eventually let's just buy a whole building, sell those and convert it into something.
So we've been friends for like what, 4 or 5
Few
years?
years, goes by
Yeah.
fast.
Wow.
And I've
wow.
seen you grow like tremendously as a real
Yeah,
estate
thanks.
agent.
And I've
Grow-
seen you grow like
grow
crazy.
together.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for a new real estate agent who wants to do the same thing as you do?
Yeah.
Starting new in the industry, working with buyer agent now, and continue to push through and be successful.
Yeah, Eddie is the first witness to see how my listing side grow.
Yes.
Right? We start
Yeah,
with,
that
I don't
was-
know,
we
you have my
saw it.
history.
Yeah.
Like I use Eddie
Yeah, I saw it.
exclusively.
I didn't know until I looked at the report.
Right.
Like,
If you
the
track
end of
back
the
4
year.
years ago.
I'm like, wow, Bonnie, wow.
I'm the biggest, client. But I do have to say, like, I'm very grateful for the people that I have met throughout my life, my real estate career, where I have fortunately met a few very, very good mentors. So I would say identify, and you can have more than one. I have mentors in different, pocket of what I need. My skill set to grow from, right? For example, and through my volunteering work that I do outside from just my real estate, selling, buying, I volunteer a lot of my time to hang out with the best of the best in the industry. So we met, we both involved in AREA, the Asian Real Estate Association of America. We are not only involved in the local level, but also national level.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about big players, not just locally, but also nationally. Like, how do people nationally, the brightest stars in this industry, shine? So when you always put yourself around the best of the best, Women's Council, like I'm the current president for Women's Council of Realtors, Greater Boston. You know that. Don't act like you're surprised. You knew that. So
No,
I'm
that's the big story too.
right.
Oh my
So
God.
so I'm currently the president for the local network at Greater Boston and Central. So the Women Council's members, on average we make $150,000, which is a lot higher than the national number, which is around 70,000. And there's a reason why. It's because we are the people who care most about education and leaderships. Like 20% of leaders from NAR, MAR, GBAR, they're from Women's Council.
Wow.
So again, right, surround yourself with people you want to become. That would be my biggest advice. So I personally mentor newer agents. I get nothing,
Yeah,
like
people, you
I don't
hear
get a
that.
split from it, but it's because I was mentored as a younger agent, and my business was growing from
Absolutely.
the first year. I'm not going to talk numbers, but you basically can like double your business very early on, kind of like your business. You probably like grow 5 times by the
Yeah,
since I
absolutely.
met you. I think I'm watching very closely. But again, like when you're new in the business, it's an opportunity to really grab that growth.
Yeah.
So doing it right and learning how to do it correctly right from the beginning is the reason why you'll be successful. Because people they do things wrong, their ethic is all wrong.
Yeah.
Because in real estate there's a lot of gray area.
Yeah.
Let's face it, it's very easy to do the wrong thing.
Yeah. Right.
So that's why you need to surround yourself with the best examples you can find to make sure that you're ethical, you're always doing the right thing, and you're knowledgeable, keeping up with the market because it's consistently changing on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always news, new products that come out, a new grant that comes out.
Yeah.
How do you help your buyers to get those money? I love giving out money like Chinese Oprah, right? I'm like 50,000 for you, 30,000 for you. I love giving out money.
Yeah. So that free money, and then you need to educate your buyers to
Right.
use that fund
Yeah.
correctly.
Well, yeah, some people don't even know they qualify for it, and
Yeah.
that's my job to tell them. I will. If you work with me,
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure there's no money left on the table as long as you qualify.
Yeah.
I'm not going to help you cheat, but I would definitely make sure if you qualify, I will get you that money.
Great.
Yeah.
So what is your goal for 2023, Bonnie?
So I would like to give back more to the community, which I've always been. I enjoy doing the volunteering work. With my husband, Charlie, just joined me in the business last year.
Wow.
It was intentional. It's because, our business, there's only so much one person can do.
Yeah.
I do anywhere from 60 to 90 transactions a year. Like this year I've done 83, and that's how many can one person do?
Yeah.
So, when Charlie, joined me, now I can do more of everything.
Yeah.
I can give back more, I can grow my business more,
Yes.
and he's going to be more on the construction and investment side.
Nice.
And I'm going to teach him everything I know. I'm not expecting him to be me, but like it's going to be a very incredible future that we're, looking forward to.
Awesome.
So you guys gonna be a construction and agent team.
Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, I think right off the bat, it's going to help my business, or our business in the real estate side, just to have that wealth of knowledge for our clients.
Yeah.
If they need a quote for something, I already have a GC right here,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter if you
True.
use us or not. We
True.
know the numbers, and we
Yeah.
all know that number is the most important thing
Yeah,
in this
absolutely.
business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie, for coming today.
Thank you
And
for
we-
having me.
The
Yes.
conversation is really, really good, and I wish that we can have more time. But
Yeah.
the
Series
times-
2.
yeah.
Stay tuned.
Maybe next time we can talk about investment real estate.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then
If
Bonnie can
anyone
share
have
more.
any question, here's Bonnie's information, and then you can put in the comment below, and she will jump in.
Yeah.
Or you can
Follow me on
email-
Facebook or
Oh yeah,
Instagram.
of course.
Yeah.
You're gonna put it right there. And then
Yeah.
also, if you have any question, you can email New Day Studio podcast email.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
here for you anytime.
Yes.
Awesome.
Anything
you.
real estate. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Good job.